polling sites not ready for Moresby Northwest By Election. MRA conduct Warden Hearing into Alluvial Mining. And PNG Nurses Association elects new office bearers.
This is National EMTV News with Dennis Orere.
Welcome, this is Wednesday's news. Acting Electoral Commissioner Simon Sinai has apologized to city residents for postponing the polling for the Moresby Northwest by-election. In a media conference yesterday, Mr. Sinai said security for the polling sites were not ready, which has resulted in the rescheduling. However, he said counting venues are set with the Commission ready to introduce a decentralized counting system.
The decentralized counting system will see all 5 ward councils in the Moresby Northwest electorate conducting its own primary counts. This, Mr. Sinai explained, is to fast-track the process of counting before all votes are put through a central location for quality checks.
All the 5 council wards will count the primary votes in the ward area, and that is going to be on Saturday, Sunday or Monday the most next week. And when the first provinces is counted, they will now bring all the sorted ballot papers to the central location, and in the central location we're going to do quality check and eventually to the elimination process and complete the counting.
With polling officials numbering over 1,000, the acting commissioner says all polling sites are set, with voters encouraged to follow COVID-19 protocols, and the 2-day delay will give them ample time to polish final preparations.
In terms of voting and polling, all organized and everything is ready, and there's nothing that will stop us from going to polls on Friday onwards. On Friday, from now until Thursday, we sort out those issues and see how far we go.
Counting sites will be at Murray Barracks, Hanwabada, Sedzongai Stadium, and the Admin College in Waigani. Meanwhile, NCD Metropolitan Commander Gideon Yukumu has confirmed that police are preparing well and will be ready for Friday's polling.
We are trying to mitigate some control mechanisms into the process, so we are now seen to be, at least as a commission, as a responsible body, feeling confident and trying to change some ways of doing things. So we are not squarely blamed on every election that is done, but all of us feel responsible and work together towards achieving all the elections in the country. So,
Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
The Mineral Resources Authority conducted a warden hearing into the Maus Makam Alluvial Mining project in Morobe's Huon District last week. The developer of the proposed project, Morobe Alluvial Mining Limited, a business arm of the Morobe provincial government, organized the event. The project covers an area of over 700 hectares, including the Makam River.
The warden hearing was headed here at the Labubutu village of Wampar LLG in the UN Gulf District, Morobe. The hearing is for the warden to identify individuals present at the hearing and record their views. Present at the event last week was Morobe Governor Ginsen Sanu, Mineral Resources Authority Deputy Chief Warden Gele Gavu, and the 4 clans of the 3 Labu villages.
Before, let's say stop good. Let's put down. Let's say dry. Now, tabi go. Now me play no planting, and now the plant is straight.
Whilst the clan leaders supported a call for the proposed project, these 2 clan leaders spoke about the impacts the project might have on their land and people.
I do believe that we will get good benefits from that. Like, things like equity, royalty, compensation and all this, and then all these special support grants from the government and this business development thing, and then this community development programs and all this. I believe that these are all coming to the Labu people. But when I weigh this with the environment impact, I feel that the environment impact is bigger than the benefits, That is my concern.
You look at it, it's not good for witnessing this. You can treat water, I don't know, I'm not safe for no gato, but no don't look water supply come no mipla. Maybe government come na pine road no bring is like clean water the mountain come mipla, some pipe come down low. Water come down here, miplo, can't change no same. Mipla no got the service.
The proposed Maus Makam Alluvial Mining project covers an area of over 700 hectares enclosing the Makam River. The developer of the mine is Morobe Alluvial Mining Limited, a business arm of the provincial government headed by CEO Brigitte Pondros. The company was established last year and began operations early this year to support the provincial government's family income support program. Governor Saunu said the mine would increase gold production, revenue and employment for the people of Morobe.
Good plan. Ask him MRA. Na suppose MRA thing or some possibilities of get deposit start inside. Okay, maybe I can explore and suppose he get. Okay, he go more.
The Deputy Chief Warden will have to submit the hearing report to the board for further deliberations before the Mining Advisory Council considers Morobe Alluvial Mining Limited's application for grants of the tenement from the report submitted. The Minister for Mining will then have to approve or disapprove from the recommendations from the Advisory Council and according to the safe mining practices and healthy environmental concerns. According to Morobe Governor, Morobe Alluvial Mining Limited hasn't conducted social mapping and has not yet surveyed the proposed mine area.
As soon as there's a Warden Hearing, he go only to confirm him, give him exploration license, and consider him all this social mapping and all the other requirements.
Julie Badui, OA, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister James Marape will be speaking at the PNG Chamber of Mines and Petroleum at the Chamber's first webinar event. The Prime Minister will present the government's perspective on the state of the resource sector and policy and legislative plans it may have to ensure the sector's future growth and sustainability. The webinar event themed Resource Industry Making It Work for PNG will feature presentations on how the sector contributes to the national economy and independent perspectives from two globally recognized mining and petroleum research and analysis organizations. The webinar is set to take place tomorrow at the Hilton Hotel starting at 1 p.m. The newly elected executives of the PNG Nurses Association were announced today. PNG Electoral Commission, who conducted the election of new office bearers, announced the incumbent national president, vice president, treasurer and regional and branch representatives. The executives vowed to address issues affecting its financial members. Rayon Lakingu reports.
Today, the elected executives were announced by the returning officer. These include Frederick Kebai, who was nominated unopposed as the national president, Esther Pisoro as the vice president, and Damari Penias as the treasurer. Regional executives and provincial branch executives were also announced.
We've got branch, regional and national executives, and now it is our duty as the administrative staff of the association to help them to understand the segregation of duties that they need to play and demonstrate at the branch level, regional level and national level.
The PNG Nurses Association is an industrial organization with established laws and regulations which represents the social, economic and political interests of its members. As per the Constitution, the association elects its executives who spoke for the interests of its members. With the last elections conducted in 2017, the elected executives will serve a 3-year term before the next elections. General Secretary Gibson Siuni says nurses makes up over 75% of the country's health workers, and the executives will continue to ensure nursing standards in the country is improved and maintained.
It is important that the association have those elected executives to negotiate and speak for the interests of the members throughout the country, to ensure that the members are being looked after and are being motivated so they can be committed to the nursing profession.
This election was also supervised by the Industrial Registrar. The Industrial Registrar encouraged all financial members of the association to work together with the elected executives to help address their issues.
So hold on to this commitment and perform your duties as representatives of the people who elected you. Honestly, with honesty and integrity.
And I hope that you will produce and also you'll work and in cooperation with the government and also National Health Department with the new Secretary of Sonliko and executive team of the National Department of Health.
Rayon Lakingu National, MTV News.
The second batch of nursing officers graduated recently at the West New Britain School of Nursing in Kimbe. Health Minister Jelta Wong says the pandemic has highlighted areas of the government to improve the sector and increase the number of health workers is among the key priorities. The 30 nurses will be engaged by the West New Britain Health Authority.
The graduation ceremony is the second for the West New Britain School of Nursing. The 30 nursing officers are the second batch with an increase of intakes. Attending the event, the health minister says Papua New Guinea needs more health workers. He says this has remained a challenge for the government.
We will ensure that NDOH and GHS must work collaboratively to ensure that the health workforce numbers are increased and doubled in the next decade of the next plan to retire and improve the aging health sector human resources.
The School of Nursing was established in 2019 with relevant support from the West New Britain provincial government, but challenges of more dormitories, classroom staff accommodation and others remain. The provincial government is making progress to support the school.
With relevant stakeholders regarding the future plans. To achieve this, and as custodian, I now commit the West New Britain provincial government to these plans. Through the provincial administration, the government will work with the West New Britain School of Nursing Steering Committee to ensure a permanent site is secured.
With this as the second batch, more health workers are expected to complete this training. Despite the small number produced, it will assist address the demand for health facilities in the province. The nurses were urged to serve with high distinction.
Let me frank with you. Those two habits also contribute to more diseases in a country, particularly chewing and smoking.
Juggler Power Jr. National, MTV News.
A team from the National Planning and Monitoring Department visited schools and communities in Mount Hagen that took part in the Water, Sanitation and Hygiene or WASH program. They continued their journey to Wapinamanda District in Enga Province this morning for the same project and handed over 2 new WASH toilet facilities to Kenta Elementary and Primary Schools. Vasinata Yama reports.
The visit to the Upper Highlands by the Planning and Monitoring Officers was to see firsthand the progress of the WASH program that is being implemented. They will then evaluate the progress to ensure implementing agencies do their job right. Hagen Central Electorate is one of the 4 districts in PNG that was selected to pilot the European Union and the national government-funded WASH project.
The policy and we start implementing now. Time working program, government working, and we will now development partners or technical expertise working.
The national planning team visited some of the 200 selected communities in the Hagen Open Electorate that are implementing the Clean Play Community project to be certified as Open Defecation Free or ODF. The communities are where students from the 50 participating schools come from. The communities have benefited so that their children may practice health and hygiene at home and at school to minimize the spread of disease or them getting ill. Care International has implemented the WASH project in Mount Hagen, which has seen a change in people's mindsets and behaviors towards their health.
So we see a big change in communities around the hygiene behavior. Every toilet we visited had a tippy tap and had soap to do hand washing.
The team officially handed over the new toilet facilities to Kanta Elementary and Primary School yesterday. These will replace the old toilets, which are not safe for little kids to use. It was a timely gift as the school turns 10 years of existence this year.
So when the project came in, I really cried in my heart. I know that my teachers and students are going to have at least not one tap, but at least some taps, which have been a relief to me.
The toilets can accommodate persons with special needs so that there is inclusive education. It has incinerators to burn rubbish. Rainwater is collected and stored in the tanks for them to keep the toilets clean, wash the hands, and for drinking. Vasanata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
The construction of the much-anticipated Handra Bridge in East Sepik Province is set to be completed. Located in the Numbo local level government in the Yangoru Sausia district, the 55-meter-long bridge will provide significant ease of transportation to the 20,000 local population and the travelling public. Secretary for the Department of National Planning and Monitoring, Connie Samuel, visited the project site over the weekend with local MP Richard Maru and the district administrator Jacob Yafai. Secretary Samuel was impressed with the progress of work done on the infrastructure that is valued at 10 million kina from the national government. He urged the local community to look after the asset that will no doubt improve their livelihoods. For the past 40 years, lives have been lost and vehicles have washed away during the wet season. The bridge will be opened in a ceremony in the coming months. Among stories after the break, access to electricity in parts of Southern Highlands, a partnership for market-to-village farmers program, and subsidies for vegetable farmers to continue. Details after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. After 10 years of being in the dark, communities between Waguma and Kirene in Southern Highlands will access electricity services. The project is a high-priority project for the Southern Highlands provincial government. Construction of the 25 kilometers of power lines is nearing completion, with work carried out by contractor Tagali Contractors and supervised by PNG Power Limited.
The Imbongo Power Project is a key priority impact project for the Southern Highlands provincial government. Speaking prior to the check presentation, Governor William Powie reiterated the amount of investment and effort to light up this part of the province. Financial backing of 3 million kina was assisted by the Kumul Petroleum Holdings.
This is one of the impact projects in Southern Highlands. In the midst of my turbulence and instability and election petition cases that are going on, I have remained focused to ensure that impact projects within the province kick off.
Of the 25-kilometer power line stretch, 15 kilometers has been established with significant progress. Tagali Contractors, who received the final payment of the project, says 12 council wards will benefit. The managing director says the entire project is supervised to ensure construction of the project is of modern standard.
And it will be a great benefit to our people in Imbongo for more than 12 council wards and churches, schools, business, houses, and the communities will benefit from this project.
With the previous power project in the area being destroyed to differences, local communities in this part of Imbongo district have been urged to appreciate the project. Governor Powie says it cost almost 6 million kina for this project alone.
And I'm appealing to the people of Imbongo in Southern Highlands to appreciate restoration of key government infrastructure projects that have been destroyed, not by tsunami or natural disaster, destroyed by yourselves, and I'm rebuilding it. So you don't allow anyone from the skies to come and fix those things. We are fixing it, and it has costed us 6 million, slightly over 6 million.
The Imbongo Power Project is expected to be commissioned later this year. Jagla Power Jr. National MTV News.
National Alliance Party leader Patrick Pruich says the termination of power purchase agreement by PNG Power is unethical. Pruich says the move is not in the national or public interest. The National Alliance leader says local communities had completed all groundwork and questioned whose interests it is serving with the termination of the project. Pruich said the project will have significant impact for landowners and all levels of government. He also stated that it is a model project in terms of the Paris Accord on climate change, especially in view of rising concerns on carbon and methane emissions from the use of fossil fuels. He said the PPL decision to terminate the 6-year-old power purchase agreement is regrettable. A partnership agreement has been signed in Eastern Highlands for the Market for Village Farmers program. This agriculture program is supported by the government and will be implemented by the Fresh Produce Development Agency. The program's objective is to achieve sustainable and increased returns to village farming households from market-oriented production.
The program is significant for the agriculture sector as the government invests more to harness agriculture produce. With government's freight subsidy in focus, the Market for Village Farmers is a model linking subsistence farmers to better market coordination and opportunities. The implementing agency is confident the partnership will benefit local farmers in the country.
That their money goes into their pocket, and the market is at the farm gate, and so that they spend their quality time in the farms.
This partnership will see 6 provinces targeted: Western Highlands, Simbu, Eastern Highlands, Morobe, Jiwaka and East New Britain. The signing saw 7 agro-cooperatives inking the deal as lead partners. For a Jiwaka-based cooperative, the project will assist them to cut out transport woes and access better markets.
Government can film this part when I'm signing MOU. We feel a big lifelong of farmers.
The Market for Village Farmers project is supported by the national government with funding from the International Fund for Agricultural Development, or IFAD. According to the project facilitator, MVF is expected to create 120 MSMEs and involve nearly 4,000 farming households.
So that's a project that we come invest in a small way, but I mean like building all systems and processes will make sure that over time, fresh produce industry, we must come up strong, we must depend on all very smart, business-minded farmers and entrepreneurs or buyers.
With appropriate funding from IFAD and technical advice from FPDA, the Market for Village Farmers hopes to impact farmers across this selected province to begin with.
But it all depends on people on the ground, the farmers themselves. A successful this project by determined by the farmers or people also, and then the lead partners.
The project agreement will expire in 2025. Jagla Power Jr. National MTV News.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Commerce and Industry, Sam Basil, has signed a new transport subsidy understanding with shipping company Bismarck Maritime Limited. This now paves way for an extension of the transport subsidization for vegetable farmers sending their produce to Port Moresby. While the total impact of the 6-month program is yet to be quantified, Bismarck Maritime reports that up to 2,500 containers were shipped over the last 6 months.
The extension of the transport subsidy for farmers pays for half the cost of sending vegetables to Port Moresby. It's a continuation of the program that began after the initial COVID-19 lockdown. Bismarck Shipping is the only recipient of the government funding paid directly to them.
The subsidy has enabled the people of the capital to buy food at affordable prices and enabled the people who are growing and selling the vegetables to prosper.
Morobe and Alatau are new ports that we want to encourage the people of Milne Bay and people of Popondetta or Oro Province to participate in this scheme as well.
It is understood 6 million kina was spent over 6 months. Up to 2,500 containers of vegetables were transported from Lae to Port Moresby. The overall impact from the cheaper costs have not yet been quantified, but the government estimates it could be worth about 50 million kina.
The first program saw 930 containers that were shipped. Now, the second program, we continued with the second program.
The transport subsidization is one of several measures implemented by the government during the COVID-19 period. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Leh.
A memorandum of agreement has been signed between Bogia District and the PNG Cocoa Board to commence cocoa rehabilitation work in this part of Madang Province. This agreement will see Cocoa Board PNG establish and manage cocoa nurseries in respective and strategic locations throughout the district and rehabilitation to enhance household income, food security and poverty alleviation.
In a small but significant ceremony this week, member for Bogia District Robert Naguri, on behalf of the Bogia District Development Authority, signed a memorandum of agreement with the PNG Cocoa Board.
Bogia is there, Bogia is available. I have got 9 rundown plantations in Bogia. And we've only got 1 revived now. We're starting to revive it. That is the Awar plantation. And we've got 8 more to go. So with this kind of working together, cooperation and partnership, I think we can help the government by contributing money into the public purse.
We are working with DDAs and with districts in partnership with districts so that we can be able to share resources, capacities, and deliver on our mandate as a cocoa industry.
The agreement paves the way for both to counter-fund establishments of cocoa nursery and rehabilitation work in the Bogia district. The objectives for this collaboration project are enhance households by increasing cocoa production and thus cocoa income to improve and sustain livelihood, reduce poverty and malnutrition, provide for an economic base for the district and increase the recognition of the district towards economic independence and contribute significantly towards the DSP 2030 target of 310,000 tons. The Bogia DDA and PNG Cocoa Board will contribute an initial funding of 100,000 kina each for the first year, with 250,000 kina subsequently for the next 2 years.
The price support program is also rolled out, about total of 25 in Madang. Madang got into a slow start, but it's eventually on the way now. All the districts are covered, and for Bogia it's 5 of them.
PNG Cocoa Board has also identified 5 family owners who will run the government's price support program. Naguri reflects on a thriving cocoa industry in Bogia before Cocoa Port Bora crushed the family's hopes. He dreams for that vibrant economy to be restored, with families having money to improve their standard of living and save for major obligations and responsibilities.
Bogia is prepared to assist the government, assist KIK and assist Cocoa Board with copra and cocoa. From the records you can see, and you know that Bogia was the leading district in Madang Province for cocoa production. You've got all the records with the Cocoa Board in Madang. Because of the Cocoa Port Bora 12 years ago, all the cocos in the district was bugger up. So we're starting from scratch.
The MOA will be reviewed after 3 years. Shamin Poreambeb, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the NESFAR market report, the kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina will buy $0.2775 $0.3531 Australian dollars, $0.3785 New Zealand dollars, and 29.75 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee closed lower, cocoa and copra closed lower, palm oil closed lower, crude oil and copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. Among stories after the break, the Royal Papua Yacht Club celebrates 100 years. Don't go away. Welcome back. The national government has shifted its focus from main centres like Port Moresby to rural PNG so that government services trickle down to the people. Prime Minister James Morobe made this announcement in Madang recently. The Prime Minister and a delegation visited Simbai in Middle Ramu last Thursday. Prime Minister James Morobe told the people of Simbai in Middle Ramu District that his government wants to invest in rural areas. His visit also brought to light the struggles of this remote community still not linked to the rest of the country. The Prime Minister stated that in the last 10 years, PNG's internal revenue on average did not surpass 10 billion kina, adding the money is however not enough when it is divided. The public service expenditure used up 8 billion kina and 2 billion kina is shared equally in each of the districts.
Tell him, go, I'll plan to help. You know, some money, we're not making big impact. You make it seem awesome. On average, in the last 10 years, people have stopped. Each district is around 10 million kina. 10 million kina. 10 million kina, I mean, how long people are making on the big highway right away? On the big highway, that's costing us 300, 400, 500 million kina. That's why government will mix him. Some money we collect him long. That's why some little give me dinner. But try to make him, especially some big work.
The country's CEO says under the national government's Connect PNG policy, roadworks in some remote parts of PNG have already started. For Madang, he promised that the long overdue roadworks to connect Madang and Western Highlands will be completed.
Now building road along our little corner. Today for the first time we talking to you, Utah Sol me come here because road play no start yet. But people are starting road finish. Today you can drive from Telephone. You go on top of the mountain or call him hidden back wall and bulldozer opposite finish. Or line block Telephone, very long looking road close to next year road going to Telephone from Tamaville all the way to Telephone.
Prime Minister Morobe further stated that Take Back PNG is also about empowering citizens. And investing in education is the right approach his government is taking in order to take back PNG. He committed 2 million kina towards Simbai High School to assist the school lift its status to a secondary school.
Me looks how well kind investment. That time me comes up, me like next time I come back, me like this house finish. And 1 or 2 more houses must get up again. Am I right?
The Royal Papua Yacht Club today celebrated 100 years of sailing and water sports in Port Moresby. Founded in 1921 with only 30 members, the club now has over 2,000 members, a 225-berth marina, and an iconic clubhouse. Yana Zoriri has the details.
The Yacht Club is 100 today, established in what was then the Port Moresby Aquatic Club in 1921 by a young sailor, Arthur P. Travis.
As an enthusiastic sailor, he realized that getting a Western-style craft in from Australia would be expensive. So he bought a local archery canoe to start competitive sailing in the Papua New Guinea waters. By the end of 1921, the Port Moresby Aquatic Club had a membership of 30 with 16 registered, racing canoes between them.
The first clubhouse was built in 1928. That was destroyed during the World War II in an air raid. The war also claimed a passenger vessel, MV MacDewey.
Its mast was later salvaged and became the club's iconic flagpole.
To mark its centenary, the club this morning hosted the burial of the 100th anniversary time capsule and unveiling of the commemorative plaque. Both events was witnessed by Governor General Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai.
We took an initiative to set 100 items in the capsule. A lot of them are generic things indicative of Papua New Guinea in 2021, like MTV footage, post-courier ads, but also some hardware and software with memorabilia, shirts, pens, USBs, because who's going to know in 100 years if USBs are actually around?
The club might be the country's premier yachting and sailing club, but people are at the heart of the club's progress over the years.
So many members, managers and staff have all played roles in the long history of the club. It is employees like Margaret Miro and Josie Kuriki who join us today, who loyally have spent over 20 years of service at the Royal Papua Yacht Club in an outstanding achievement in itself.
Yana Zoriri, National EMTV News.
Trukai Sports is next. Fees reduced for Digicel Cup, which kicks off this weekend. More on that with Fidelis Sukina after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Papua New Guinea National Rugby League Competition Board has reduced the registration fees by half for all 12 franchises due to a shortened 2021 Digicel Cup season. PNGNRLC Chairman Adrian Chow said the decision was reached at a board meeting on Saturday ahead of the season kickoff this weekend.
The COVID-19 global pandemic has caused a lot of inconvenience to sporting bodies and their competitions, with some competitions and clubs facing financial challenges. Sports in general relies heavily on corporate sponsorship, and with businesses facing hardships, the Papua New Guinea National Rugby League Competition, managers of the Digicel Cup, have seen this hardship and have decided to slash the registration fees for franchises by 50%. In a media statement released by PNGNRLC, the board has decided to cut the registration from 200,000 kina plus GST from 2021, which now will be subsidized by 50%, to 100,000 kina plus GST. The competition is set to kick off by this weekend, the 5th of June. With the slashing of registration fees also comes the shortening of the season as well. Teams will now play each other only once, with 11 rounds of competition and 4 weeks of finals, ending with the grand final on September the 12th. This season's draw was adopted last year as well. This will help franchises and their sponsors ease the burden of doing business amid COVID-19 delays. Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
That story wraps up Trukai Sports. The weather report after these messages. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
Regional weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Port Moresby, mostly fine, although cloudy. Daru, mostly fine and windy. Fresh to strong southeasterly winds. Kerama, morning showers easing into partly cloudy periods. Alotau, mostly fine, moderate to fresh southeasterly winds. Popondetta, partly cloudy with chances of afternoon showers. In the Momase region, Ley, cloudy periods with showers. Medang, cloudy with few showers. Wewak and Vanimo, cloudy with some showers. To the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, morning showers easing into cloudy periods. Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, cloudy with some showers. Buka, cloudy with showers, light southeasterly winds. In the Highlands region, all centers to expect morning fog clearing, then cloudy with some showers.
Weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for Wednesday, the 2nd of June 2021. Pleasant viewing, be safe, bye for now.